And one-on-one. Clark into the paint, gets swatted by DeShields.
Cute on offense and
turn to you a little bit.
About your perspective, just what you saw.
How you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you?
I'm doing great because you're here. You want to
get my edge back.
So I guess at a young age,
That's wherever I end up at.
Then what happens is Diamond DeShields body blocks her like she's playing football, running down the floor, clearly runs right into her to knock her over. Flagrant foul call. That's 2 more. That's 5 free throws in a minute because y'all can't control yourselves. Not because of the referees.
That's coming up to me saying, "Oh, are you okay? They threaten you when you hit Chet, Caitlin." Oh, she like, "I'm fine. I just turned the phone off."
In a stunning twist during training camp, former champion and star guard Diamond DeShields has been suspended and waived following a shocking incident involving rookie sensation Caitlin Clark. Was it merely a heated camp scuffle, or the moment that brought her career to an abrupt end? This was a development no one saw coming. While the sky isn't falling in Chicago, the franchise certainly looks very different from its magical 2021 championship run. Since then, the Chicago Sky have undergone a dramatic transformation, becoming nearly unrecognizable from the team that once lifted the trophy. The 2025 WNBA regular season tipped off on Friday, but even on the eve of opening night, rosters across the league were still being finalized. The Connecticut Sun were making last-minute decisions, but the biggest surprise came out of Chicago. Diamond DeShields, expected to make her debut with the Sky this season after signing a 1-year deal in February, was suddenly cut from the roster. Just days earlier, head coach Teresa Weatherspoon told reporters that DeShields would miss the season opener against the Washington Mystics due to a right ankle sprain suffered on Sunday. That announcement, however, turned out to be just the beginning of a much larger story.
This next stretch of games against the Fever, the Wings, how are you going to use this as a measuring stick to assess whether or not maybe some changes need to happen?
Fans were still hopeful to see Diamond DeShields return to form, but reality quickly set in. DeShields had been sidelined for most of training camp with a lingering ankle injury and didn't appear in either of the Connecticut Sun's 2 preseason games. Yet the true shock came when the team officially waived the former Lady Vols standout. As the news broke, an unspoken question seemed to echo, quiet yet persistent. What really led to this final roster cut? The die was cast, and many believe the seeds were sown months earlier. All signs point back to one game last August, a heated matchup between the Indiana Fever and the Chicago Sky. That night, rookie phenom Caitlin Clark exploded for a dominant performance in Indiana's 118-81 rout of the Sky. But while Clark dazzled on the stat sheet, the night was marred by controversy, and DeShields found herself at the center of it. Midway through the game, DeShields delivered a hard shoulder-to-back hit on Clark, drawing a flagrant foul. Though she appeared to raise her hands afterward, possibly trying to show she meant no harm, the damage was done. The play not only sparked a flagrant upgrade, but also ignited a firestorm of criticism across social media and sports talk, raising league-wide concerns about player safety. Though Clark was also the target of another flagrant foul that game, it was DeShields who made the headlines for all the wrong reasons. Fast forward to 2024, the Connecticut Sun, under coach Stephanie White, set a franchise record with 28 regular season wins and reached the semifinals. Ironically, they eliminated Indiana in the first round, only to fall to the Fever in a fierce playoff rematch. But DeShields, despite being signed in the offseason, never got a chance to contribute. Now, as the 2025 season begins, her future hangs in the balance, a cautionary tale of how quickly things can unravel in the WNBA.
And one-on-one. Clark into the paint, gets swatted by DeShields.
Indiana Fever in the Chicago Sky here from Wintrust Arena. The Fever really stretched out.
In fact, DeShields fouled Clark twice within a span of just 40 seconds. The second incident, where DeShields barreled into Clark during a fast break transition, was ruled a flagrant foul, further escalating tensions and drawing sharp criticism from fans and analysts alike.
Again, DeShields against Clark.
Yeah, that was a cheap foul by Diamond DeShields. And just, I mean,
and you get caught. Like right now, spotlight could not be any brighter on you than it is.
And it's away from the play foul on Diamond, which is the reason Caitlin Clark could take that free throw.
Clark capitalized on the flagrant foul by calmly sinking both free throws, pushing her to a career-high 31 points. In doing so, she etched her name into the record books with the first 30-point, 12-assist game in WNBA history. But the drama didn't end on the court.
Problem controlling your anger. You're pissed off. You're mad. You're in petty mode because you're getting your asses kicked. So now we're going to try to do whatever we got to do to take somebody out. Notice they're not fouling Aaliyah Boston like that. They're not fouling Dantes like that, or whoever was in the game, Kelsey Mitchell, whoever was in the game at that time. They're not fouling them like that. They're going after Caitlin Clark. It's their MO. It's their MO. Yeah, like in the game before where Angel Reese literally, clotheslines her across the freaking head with the front of her forearm.
Following the game, Chicago Sky guard Diamond DeShields found herself at the center of a social media firestorm. The controversial foul on Indiana Fever star rookie Caitlin Clark quickly went viral, sparking widespread outrage among fans. But what began as a heated sports debate took a darker turn when one online troll crossed the line, targeting DeShields for her past health struggles. In a disturbing moment, DeShields shared a screenshot of the hateful message, which mocked her. 20-20 battle with a benign spinal tumor. At the time, she faced the terrifying risk of paralysis, undergoing surgery that left her with painful tremors throughout recovery. It was a defining chapter in her life, one that revealed her resilience and determination. Despite the cruelty of the comments, DeShields responded with grace and composure. Her classy reply drew an outpouring of support from fans, teammates, and fellow WNBA players, many of whom praised her strength both on and off the court. Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark, now a frontrunner for Rookie of the Year, has become a lightning rod for attention in her debut season. That attention, however, has come with scrutiny, especially in games against the Sky. This wasn't the first time tensions flared between Chicago and Clark. Earlier in the season, Sky guard Chennedy Carter ignited a storm of controversy after, delivering a hard shoulder check to Clark, a move that also triggered widespread backlash and raised questions about how the rookie was being treated by opponents.
Still a bunch of buzz around that chest check that Caitlin Clark got from Sky forward Chennedy Carter. It was ruled a flagrant one foul after the game by the league. Bottom line, Indiana got a 1-point win, their first home court victory of the season. The whole thing felt like and still feels like a learning moment on many levels.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting it, but I think it's just like, just respond, come down, let your play do the talking. It is what it is. It's a physical game. Go make the free throw and then execute on offense. And
she turned to you a little bit after the Fever
I
score.
didn't answer making Clark questions.
Did she say anything to you?
I don't know what she said.
What did you say to her?
I didn't say anything.
Additionally, Angel Reese, another standout from the Sky, delivered a hard foul on Clark in a separate game, further intensifying an already heated rivalry.
The flagrant foul from your perspective, just what you saw in that.
Basketball play, refs got it right. Move on.
Free. And look out, Caitlin Clark pushes Angel Reese, and Angel Reese gets right up into Caitlin Clark.
When Reese got up, she appeared to confront Clark, but Indiana center Aaliyah Boston quickly stepped in between them. After a replay review, Clark's third personal foul was upgraded to a flagrant one, while both Boston and Reese received technical fouls.
Angel's a really rare talent, being that she has to juggle a lot of different things, and to have somebody as sound-minded as her at her age, come in and have the approach that she has to work, like this is a job. She's very professional. She comes in each and every day, gives us consistency, and it's just really impressive, given the circumstances of her life and her career so early on. I'm happy to be an example for her. I will continue to wrap my arms around her and make sure that she can have an opportunity to pursue those goals that she mentioned.
Still, it's hard to ignore the obvious. The fray added yet another chapter to the growing rivalry that has captivated women's basketball.
He made a powerful statement saying the reason people are watching women's basketball is not just because of one player, but because of you too.
I'll look back in 20 years and be like, yeah, the reason why we watching women's basketball is not just because of one person, it's because of me too.
A year later, do you feel like you're
Next question.
The rivalry dates back to their college days, when Reese helped lead LSU to a 102-85 victory over Clark's Iowa Hawkeyes in the 2022-23 National Championship. Clark got her revenge in the spring of 2024, winning the rematch in a game that drew a staggering 12.3 million television viewers. Less than 8 weeks later, the two were squaring off again, this time in the WNBA in the first of 4 matchups. The Fever won 3 of those intense contests, many of which featured hard fouls and physical play. In the end, Clark helped lead Indiana to the playoffs, while the Sky fell short, in part due to Reese missing the final 2 weeks of the season, with a wrist injury. All told, it was a triumphant chapter for Clark. She just keeps rolling with the punches, along with the shoves.
Pleased to be joined by Diamond DeShields. Diamond, how you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you?
I'm doing great because you're here. You're one of my favorite players. I know you just started, but you've got so much upside. When did you know that you were going to be this explosive on the court?
Well, I mean, growing up, I was always like more athletic than the rest of the kids. So I guess at a young age, I just, if I was going to take this on, I wanted to try to be the best at it, and, that's what I'm working towards.
Diamond DeShields comes from a family of elite athletes. Her father, Delino DeShields, played 13 seasons in Major League Baseball, and her brother, Delino DeShields Jr., also had a career in the MLB. So when news broke that she was the final roster cut for the Connecticut Sun ahead of the 2025 WNBA season, it came as a surprise. DeShields was one of the Suns' 2 notable off-season signings, brought in after the team's entire core either signed elsewhere or were traded during free agency. The move was especially shocking given her pedigree, a highly coveted 3rd overall pick in the 2018 WNBA draft and the winner of the league's 2019 All-Star Skills Challenge. Back then, as she fluttered her fingers over the ball waiting to snatch it off the holder before the contest began, it seemed like the start of a star-studded career.
The 3rd pick in the 2018 WNBA draft, the Chicago Sky select Diamond DeShields from the University of Tennessee and Kokarova most recently in Turkey.
The second-year Sky star was relaxed and smiling, fully embracing the spirit of the event. She won the skills challenge with ease, showcasing why so many expected her to become the face of the Chicago Sky franchise. Her athleticism, personality, and early success made her stand out that season. DeShields led the Sky in scoring, averaging 16.2 points per game and topped the league in fast break points. Had it not been for Dearica Hamby's miraculous 3-point shot in the playoffs against the Las Vegas Aces, DeShields would have led the Sky to their first semifinals appearance since 2016. 2 years later, in 2021, the Sky captured their first championship in franchise history. But by then, a tough recovery from spinal surgery had already shifted the course of DeShields' career.
Awoke inside of me because, the next day after that collision, I couldn't walk. I couldn't do anything. So I thought I had, just tweaked my back or whatever. I ended up having to go get an MRI, and that's when they found the tumor. And so from there, met with a few doctors to get some second, third opinions because obviously I'm about to get my spinal cord operated on. So
yeah, I want to be pretty certain.
Yeah, you want to be pretty certain. So I met with a few doctors, ended up getting the surgery, and from there it was just an uphill battle, man. Just whole 9. Couldn't move my legs, couldn't walk, was in a wheelchair. It was an Olympic year that I was preparing to go to Tokyo that year, and I missed out on that opportunity. I kind of relate to this shonen protagonist in terms of just losing that superpower or not having it in the first place, and then you go on that arc, that training arc, and you just constantly trying to be the best that you can be. So, there's still a lot that I want to accomplish as a player, and, I'm in the thick of it right now. So anime is I love watching it. It just keeps me motivated, keeps me inspired, and makes me feel good about where I am, honestly.
Since then, DeShields has faced multiple hurdles, including a lengthy recovery from surgery to remove a tumor from her spinal cord in 2020. After spending a year rehabbing a knee injury, she has now returned to the WNBA with a new sense of purpose. For DeShields, it's no longer just about winning championships or being a star. She feels called to share her unique perspective with the Sky team, a perspective shaped by multiple extraordinary comebacks to the game she loves.
trying to get my edge back, trying to get my swagger back. Trying to rise to the level of someone who is viewed as one of the top players at her position in the league again. Those are all still very tangible things, still within reach. I just have to just go out and get them. So that's wherever I end up at. That's the biggest thing that I'm looking for.
But fear can suck the joy out of playing, even for the most talented stars. Though DeShields showed flashes of her joyful all-star self, she often appeared deflated and disconnected from the flow of the game. Her release from the Connecticut roster marks an abrupt end to her short time with the franchise. Yet, could there be a better person to lead this team than Diamond DeShields? With a Sky roster lacking established superstars, making a playoff run will require an all-hands-on-deck effort. Every key contributor must play at a high level. DeShields, especially, she's one of the few Sky players with the size and athleticism to effectively guard elite perimeter players.
And DeShields of the WNBA's Dallas Wings, teaming up with Gina Sanchez of Chantico Global. Together, they make up the dynamic duo. Diamond, welcome. What's your pick?
Yeah, you guys, y'all gave me the 10th pick, but Gina and I are still holding on. So we're gonna go with PayPal.
Ooh, why do you like that one?
We like PayPal just because it's got a really high upside. The revenue's growing faster than expected, right? Like the cross-border transactions are making a comeback after the pandemic. And on top of that, they're launching the e-commerce platform, which hopefully we'll see some upward ticks there.
You've done your homework.
We feel good about PayPal.
All right, Gina, what do you think of PayPal? Why do you like it?
She's also one of the Sky's few multi-level scorers, comfortable scoring at the rim, from mid-range and beyond the three-point line. Tina Charles, the WNBA's all-time rebound leader, joined training camp alongside DeShields, but now only Charles remains on the roster. The Sky will look radically different in 2024, but there is still promising potential among both the returning players and the new additions.